Hi, I'm Matteo Bologna, President and Creative Director of Mucca Design and founder of Mucca TYPO. And actually, I'm also the president of the Type Directors Club. And when I will accomplish my plan of conquering the world, I will probably be the president of the world. It's going to happen in probably like between 5 to 6 years. So you can start calling me president. Okay. Hello. I'm Matteo Bologna from Muka in New York. And this is me. We are around 10 people in the office, situated in Chelsea, in Manhattan. We do projects that are going from packaging for spirits to restaurant branding to identity. And Mucca TYPO instead is a new type foundry that I started 5 months ago, and actually is not officially launched. Practically the result of years of designing custom type for our branding projects, and we accumulated so many fonts that now I think it's nice to send them to the public with revised versions. When I was a baby, I was around 18 years old, I finished art school in Milan, and for some reason, actually the main reason is because in Italy, where I'm from, Milan, nobody cares about the quality of the work. They care mostly about the price and whom you know, who you're a friend of. And therefore, that played to my great advantage because I started working for magazines, thanks to the fact that my mother knew somebody who knew somebody else, and they needed somebody who was doing illustrations very cheaply. And here I was. I did it for, Esquire Italy, was another magazine called Class. There was another one called Max, which I think still exists. I don't know if they still exist. It was many, many, many years ago. Great, you're out of school and you start making, decent money for a student or somebody just out of school was great. At a certain point, I started hating doing illustrations because I reached a point where I knew that I couldn't get any better. And my interest shifted to graphic design, and was pre-internet. I was giving my illustrations, and because the illustration was commissioned at lunchtime and I was delivering it at 7, the magazine needed to be closed and they needed help to finish the magazine, which implied to paste blocks of text on paper and doing artworks by hand and stuff like that. So because I was there and I was cheap, actually, in that case, for the graphic design work, I was totally free. I started doing some graphic design and I loved it. So I stopped, after a while, I stopped being an illustrator and became a graphic designer. I prefer not to name the magazine. It was a shitty magazine. It's still a shitty magazine, Italian magazine. And, I started doing graphic design, but I hated doing mechanicals. And I was terrible. I was keep making mistakes. So I had to fix all my mechanicals with, blades and whiteout. And I wasn't good at it. So I started to think, well, maybe I heard that there's computers around here. So I should probably look to buy one because I'm sure computers can do this work better than humans. This was the early years of Macintosh. So nobody in Italy had it except for maybe a few pre-press companies. So I leased a Mac that at the time was like spending $30,000 nowadays, printer included, for a computer that did probably a quarter of what one of iPhone 4 would do. And just because I had this computer and I was able to print text and shapes, by default, I acquired the title of graphic designer. Again, thanks to the fact that the bar was very low. I had fonts in my computer, mostly stolen, um, and um, and therefore I became a graphic designer. And the people from the magazine industry that before was hiring me for doing illustrations now started hiring me to do graphic design. So I have to thank the low standards of Italians, because at the time I really sucked. I'm terrible at talking at the projects that I worked, because, I think once a project is done, it's done, gone, bye. So always looking forward to new projects, new challenges. One project that was kind of like very important for me and my company, which is Balthazar, is this restaurant in Soho that I designed many, many, many years ago. It's a French brasserie in the heart of Soho in Manhattan. And when I designed it was in an area that was developing, and it became an immediate success. Hopefully, also thanks to the design work that we did. And so that project really gave us the possibility to do really cool typographical experiment, because all the menus are designed in kind of like Victorian style, which means a shitload of typefaces all in the same page, which is delicious for somebody who likes to use type. Because the place became so famous, uh, by default, uh, my name and the name of my company was associated to the food industry. Therefore, we get we keep getting a lot of calls for doing restaurant work and packaging work, just thanks to this project. Recently, we did a really good signage system and packaging system for Whole Foods in Manhattan, and then for the north side of their empire here in the States. And we did a new special premium package for Grey Goose for the European market. Those are projects that are pretty interesting because, again, you work with existing brands and you expand their voice. And this is what we really love to do. Another project that we loved from last year is the Chicago Athletic Association, which is a brand new premier hotel housed in a building that was a landmark in Chicago. And it used to be actually a real athletic association that now is this fancy, cool hotel. Super fun project for which we design a custom typeface. So any project that has custom typeface makes me happy. As a graphic designer, I don't feel threatened by this incredible amount of templated websites, templated business cards, templated t-shirts, templated everything that is going around. I actually find it that is great. There's a lot of good templates around that if you are a good designer, you can customize, or if you are just a normal person, you can use as is with a little modification. I know some of my favorite designers are using templates for their websites, and I don't think there's absolutely anything wrong with that. Of course, um, there's a little bit of homogenization. I think this is the English word. The user interface is more or less the same for everything, for every website, which in a certain way it's good so that the user doesn't get frightened by new way of navigating a site. But my only question is that if this makes us dumb, are we just not willing to come out with something that is challenging, that is risky? Is it necessary to do it? I don't know. When we do work for our clients, our goal is to make them stand out. So, of course, if you do something that is outside of the norm, you're going to stand out. If you do an interface that is outside of the norm and doesn't work, it's not a good thing. But if you don't know how to create a good user experience for your website, just stick with the template. But if you know how to do something that is new and revolutionary, I think it's a good thing to try. Probably nobody knows what this shit is. But anyway, I was using a bicycle because my horse was sick.